What if the most terrifying monster in Greek mythology was actually a victim? What if Medusa, the snake-haired woman whose gaze turned men to stone, wasn't born evil, but was made into a monster? For thousands of years, her story has been told as a warning, a creature to fear, a head to be cut off. But the truth? It's darker, it's tragic, and it completely changes how you see her. Today, we're uncovering the real story of Medusa, from beautiful priestess to cursed gorgon to one of the most misunderstood figures in mythology. And trust me, the ending of her story is not what most people think. Before the snakes, before the stone, before the legend, Medusa was human. In many versions of the myth, Medusa was once a stunningly beautiful young woman. She served as a priestess in the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. And being a priestess of Athena came with one unbreakable rule. She had sworn a vow of chastity. Her beauty, however, attracted attention. Dangerous attention. One day, Poseidon, god of the sea, earthquakes and storms, saw her, and he wanted her. What happened next depends on which version of the myth you read. But in the most widely retold version, Poseidon assaulted Medusa inside Athena's temple. Yes, inside the sacred temple. Now here's where the story takes a shocking turn. Athena didn't punish Poseidon. She punished Medusa. Enraged that her temple had been desecrated, Athena transformed Medusa into something terrifying. Her long, beautiful hair became writhing, venomous snakes. Her once soft face hardened into something so horrifying that anyone who looked at her would turn instantly to stone. And just like that, Medusa became a monster. But here's what's important. She wasn't born a gorgon. She was turned into one. In older Greek mythology, there were 3 gorgons, Stheno, Euryale, and Medusa. The first 2 were immortal. Medusa was the only mortal one, which makes her story even more tragic, because while her sisters could never die, Medusa could. And eventually, someone would come looking for her. Enter Perseus, a young hero sent on what was basically a suicide mission. King Polydectes wanted Perseus dead, so he gave him an impossible task. Bring me the head of Medusa. Why Medusa? Because no one survived facing her. Warriors who tried were now nothing but lifeless stone statues scattered across her island, frozen mid-scream, frozen mid-attack, frozen forever. But Perseus had help. The gods, ironically including Athena, armed him with powerful tools. A mirrored shield so he wouldn't have to look directly at Medusa. A sword strong enough to cut through anything. A magical bag to carry her head. A helmet of invisibility. Winged sandals to fly. This wasn't just a fight. It was an execution. Perseus flew to Medusa's island where she lived in isolation with her sisters. And while she slept, he used the reflection in his shield to guide his blade. With one clean strike, he cut off her head. But here's the part most people don't know. The moment Medusa died, 2 beings sprang from her body. Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant warrior. They were the children of Poseidon, born from her death. Even in death, Medusa created life. But the story doesn't end there. Medusa's head didn't lose its power. Even severed, it could still turn people to stone. Perseus used it as a weapon. He turned enemies into statues. He defeated monsters. He even turned King Polydectes, the man who sent him on the mission, into stone. And in a final twist of irony, Perseus gave Medusa's head to Athena, the same goddess who cursed her. Athena placed the head on her shield, the Aegis, using its power as a symbol of protection. Medusa, once punished and cast out, became a symbol of power. Over time, Medusa transformed from monster to symbol. In ancient Greece, her image was used as protection, placed on armor, shields, and buildings to ward off evil. People believed her terrifying face scared away danger. But in modern times, Medusa has taken on an entirely new meaning. Many see her as a symbol of survival, female rage, injustice, protection after trauma. Because when you really look at her story, she wasn't evil. She was silenced, punished, isolated, and then hunted. Her story forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about power, blame, and justice. Was she the villain? Or was she the victim of gods far more cruel than she ever was? Medusa's story has survived for over 2,500 years. Not because she was a monster, but because her story is tragic, complicated, human, and maybe that's why we're still talking about her today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into mythology, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more untold stories from ancient legends. Because sometimes, the real monsters aren't the ones with snakes for hair. They're the ones holding the power.